Welcome to Beyond the Quantum Biopharma Lawsuit, an exclusive video series production of AGORACOM, in which we speak to multiple investors who have suffered financial and emotional losses stemming from a $700 million lawsuit filed by Quantum Biopharma, alleging, it's more to say that, alleging that CIBC, RBC, and others engage in market manipulation in the share price of the biopharmaceutical company that was once valued at nearly $1 billion. In this exclusive series, Quantum Biopharma, which, by the way, was previously known as FSD Pharma and traded under the symbol HUGE, HUGE, has invited shareholders to come forward to share their personal stories with their fellow investors in order to help build an even stronger case, as well as encourage others to step forward. Today, we're happy to welcome from Croatia, no less than that, Mike Cavcic to the series. Mike, welcome to AGORACOM.
Thank you for having me on, George.
It's great to have you on because it shows that Quantum Biopharma / FSD Pharma in the past has an international shareholder base.
Absolutely. Well, it's a strong company, solving real problems in the world, especially with the multiple sclerosis. And I think they have something to offer, the world, and I think it's a great company and with a great vision, let's just say.
So tell us, obviously you know a lot about the company. Tell us why you first started investing in the company and how optimistic you felt at that time. How good you felt about the long-term future of the company.
Well, George, to be quite honest, the company, when I first came across it, like I mentioned earlier, they're tackling a world issue, multiple sclerosis. I've known people that have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I've seen, they're trying to change something. And, I took a great, part of my money invested in the company. And my initial investment was about a $30,000 investment up front. And I felt strong about the company. I was looking towards a 3 to 5 year, return on investment, and hoping, they would overcome, the problems, that the world faces with multiple sclerosis and what other significance their products can, cure. I'm not too sure all the details, but there's a lot of good things the company had to offer at that time, and still do.
So did you find yourself often confused, maybe perplexed about how the company was tackling these issues and doing some good things, but the stock price just kept on falling? How did you deal with that?
Well, George, as for I think every other investor, which was very perplexing, is there was a lot of good things happening within the company. A lot of things were moving forward, and then for some apparent reason, there was a reverse split, which was very perplexing. I didn't understand why, and kind of didn't really understand what was going on. But at the same time, you got a company that's still putting out this, great results. Their human trial errors, for the clinical trials in humans, and I've seen the how they brought the mice back, that were kind of like paralyzed, the mice. I don't know if you've seen the video, and over 30-40 days of their medicine, like it kind of brought the mouse back. It was very interesting. And even at the time I was very discouraged, but at the same time I was a firm believer that they had something real good here, where I continued to purchase more shares based on a dollar cost averaging to lower my initial share price to a more suitable position financially, where I thought, okay, this was going to be the maximum. And that was an initial 50,000 I invested after, and I felt okay. The stock finally started to stabilize around the $2 to $3 range, and of course, I was reading a lot of wonderful things about the company. Analysts were looking at a $10, $10 a share price for the foreseen future. And what was very perplexing at the time was the markets were. Okay, they did pull down after the COVID, but then the market started climbing and climbing and climbing. next thing you know, we're hitting all-time highs. At the same time, FSD Pharma was putting out great results, and the stock price was constantly kind of slipping down and down and down. And at that point, I was completely lost. I didn't understand what was going on and why was it happening. And at that point, I didn't know what to come of it, what to make of it. It was just very discouraging. And then as an investor,
So then what was your reaction? So you're in that perplexing phase and all this is happening. What was your reaction to the allegations in the lawsuit filed by Quantum Biopharma earlier this year? Did that suddenly shed light on this, or how did you feel? How did you feel about everything you read in the lawsuit?
Well, George, I can tell you, well, first and foremost, everything kind of made sense at that moment when I read that allegation, how the big banks were manipulating that stock price. Now, for whatever reason, I don't understand why they would do such a thing, but I know that first and foremost, a lot of people were absolutely crushed. For myself, it's just, let's just face it, $87,000 ain't little money, right? And
That's a lot of money for anybody.
that's a lot of money. And to say, to look now, and it just, I can't tell you, what thoughts go through your mind. It's discouraging. It's you want to, like, sometimes just hang yourself for not understanding what's going on. It just,
Well, whatever you do, don't do it like that. Life is still great.
no,
And Quantum Biopharma now is fighting back on behalf of you and all the shareholders of the company. So, but yeah, I mean, look, that's why we're doing this series, right? And that's why my last question is, we know your financial loss, but what was the toll on your personal life as a result of that? What did that? Obviously, it deeply impacted you personally.
Anytime somebody faces those kind of losses, let's face it, it's not an easy pill to swallow. And even now, it's somehow you got this faith in the company that maybe they could somehow turn it all around. Maybe with this big lawsuit, if they win, maybe somehow return value to the investors, that are still invested. It's sad. I still have shares in the company, but I only have, 106 shares at a value of $584. I understand some of the things they had to do to protect their company from probably going solvent or bankrupt. And
Yes.
I'm hoping that maybe if they win this battle, that they will return value to their the investors that are stuck. And there's I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's probably many investors, if you read some of the forums that are, they're troubled. It hurts. It hurts more than anything in the world. But what can I do? I just hope they can pull it off and make a strong case and prove that, if these were what was being manipulated by these banks, well, somebody has to hold them accountable. That's it's can't be legal, isn't that? That's for sure.
What's your message to Zishan, the CEO, and everybody for actually taking this fight to the banks? And again, we got to make clear the allegations, but hey, there's serious allegations with two serious law firms working on contingency. What's your message to Zishan and the company for fighting back?
Well, give it your all. I hope what allegations they're making with the banks to prove them. Let it be publicly, let it be known. I know that J.P. Morgan won a similar lawsuit, in the United States. They were awarded also for some kind of manipulation. There was a similar case that I also read. So I think it can, be plausible that they do win the allegation and, stick it to them. Banks don't want people, I don't know, to be profitable. I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
You've said it. You've actually said it very well, Mike. You've actually said it really well. And I thank you so much for sharing the story, for having the courage. It's not easy to go on camera, be interviewed, talk to your fellow shareholders and the public and talk about this. So I think that shows a lot of character integrity on your behalf. And
Well,
here's my hope that not only one day will we meet in Croatia, because off camera we talked about our mutual love for Europe, but to have you back one day on another interview to discuss hopefully a successful outcome of the lawsuit and what that means for you and all the shareholders going forward on a brand new day. But thank you so much, Mike, for telling your
thank you,
story.
George,
It's
for
really
having me on.
unbelievable.
Thank you, George, for having me on. And I hope more investors are encouraged to speak out so they could have a strong case in this fight.
Well, you've certainly laid it all out there, so I'm sure others will want to do the same. And you're a real leader, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
The information discussed in this interview pertains to allegations that have been made in a legal filing. These allegations have not been proven in court, and all parties are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. This content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal or investment advice.
Smash that like button, drop us a comment, and share it to fire up that engagement algo so other investors can discover this company.